to protect the nation, and it has failed in every facet, every regard. Perhaps someday we'll stop arresting millions of nonviolent, mostly young Americans for baggies of flowers or other plant products found in their pockets. Maybe someday we'll find better uses for the billions of dollars we invest each year in fighting, encouraging the black market in drugs. You know, the black market in drugs is the world's largest multi-level marketing organization. It reaches into every neighborhood. It, as I said earlier, entices your children to join in the feast. You know, do $5 an hour at McDonald's, or do they want to make $500 a day dealing these drugs to their fellow students? That's what we have in place. And we've got to stop and look at it. We've got to change what we're doing. Houston, Harris County, leads the world in its incarceration rate. We have decided not to listen to the legislature, not to listen to the governor. There was a bill passed a couple of years ago, House Bill 2391, which allowed individual counties to no longer arrest, to no longer incarcerate people with less than 4 ounces of marijuana. Now, the only county that has done so is Travis County, Austin. They decided that they would forego arresting people for that. Oh, we do have a caller. What do I do here? Just hit speaker?
Yes.
All right. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I understand the lobbying group running the opposition to your point is the booze industry and the pharmaceuticals in the Partnership for Drug-Free America.
Yes, of course. They were one of the founding charitable contributions to get the Drug-Free America started was from those people.
Are you making any contact with these people and saying that their position is kind of silly? I mean, it seems like booze and drugs go well together nicely. And big pharma, don't they produce plenty of drugs to help people kick other drugs?
Well, we have a situation where they have, you know, methadone now is the big rage, that's what you get people off of opiates with. But the truth of the matter is right now, more people are dying from methadone than from the opiate, from the heroin and, you know, the stuff made by the cartels. It's really where the ONDCP has fallen flat on their face is the fact that they have invested billions of dollars in trying to stop marijuana. You've seen the ads, people smoking at the Jack-in-the-Box and running over a kid in the driveway, that kind of thing. And what we have to do is stop and think about it. What they should have done is focus on the important things, how to prevent overdoses, how to protect our children from the really serious drugs. And they have failed. You know, most people who do these opiate drugs, whether they're made by Merck or Shorty Guzman, they don't know the complications that they can run into. They don't know that you shouldn't be drinking alcohol with those drugs. They don't know that that combination is deadly. I think you brought forward a very important point. Anything else you'd like to say?
Well, about the president's health care plan, I think the opposition is going to throw up all they can to stop this and, well, call off the dogs on the illicit drugs, which people self-medicate, can't afford, say, a $400 box of lidocaine patches, for instance.
Right, right. Well, and that's the whole point. We live in a society where everybody wants to be the billionaire. Everybody wants to think they can make it to the top, that they can take advantage of, you know, what's awaiting those who grab the golden ring. When the truth of it is, I quit doing audit work about 7 years ago, and I haven't had insurance. I haven't been able to afford insurance. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that neither can millions of other Americans who will also never be able to afford that insurance. And we've got to stop believing the hype and the pipe dreams of some of these people who want us to think that we will grab that golden ring. It's not going to be there for everybody, and we do need some sort of universal insurance in America.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, hit the button again. All right, I appreciate that call. Thank you for calling in. And it brings to mind something. We've been fed a bag of lies in so many regards over the years, you know. I mean, I don't want to go into an endless list, but, you know, weapons of mass destruction, and we'll be met with roses and greetings in Iraq and so forth. And I think the roses were reserved for when we left, actually. That's the way it's starting to look. You know, I was talking about Houston, Harris County being the world's leading jailer. And we are. We have people sleeping all over the jails. They're sleeping under the beds. They're sleeping next to the toilets. We're shipping people to Louisiana. And again, why? Because we refuse to stop arresting people as the legislature had wanted us to. We refuse to stop jailing people as the legislature indicated we should. And why? I don't know the answer, other than it must grease a lot of wheels. It must make a lot of money for certain people, certain players here in Houston that benefit from the state funds and I guess federal funds that flow to the jails, that flow to those who run these jails. And let's stop here for a second. They used to charge $2 a minute for people to make a phone call. They still charge $2 for a little half pint of peanut butter that they sell in the commissary. They inflate these prices at the commissary, and they make money for the prison guards, for the union, for beer parties, I'm sure, during the holidays, things like that. What makes the drug war possible? What does? It's fear. Fear makes the drug war possible, and fear, if we don't address it, could make the drug war last forever. Without the superstition, demonization, and the public's blind acceptance of our venerable witch doctor's pronouncement, the drug czar's pronouncement, drug prohibition could easily be seen as the utter failure of all time. Our shaman, our keepers of the public morals, the attorneys general, the drug czar, the administrator of the DEA, these are the chief shaman, our witch doctors. And I hear we have another call. I'm going to mark this. I appreciate you calling in. And you're on the air. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, you have a question?
Yes, sir. About 3 weeks ago, I was driving in my neighborhood, and it's a known drug offender. I gave her a ride to give her some chicken, to buy some chicken. As soon as I put her in the car, policeman pulls me over, wrecker truck pulls up, puts my car up. The policeman puts her in the vehicle. Then he comes back. He goes straight to where she hit her paraphernalia, and he lets her go, and he takes me to jail. Now, when I get to jail, I cramped up, so I lay back in the car and started crying. First of all, my purse, he sent my purse with the record driver. So I had over $800 that came up missing, my jewelry that was removed, and all that. I didn't understand, if I'm going to jail, why didn't you send my property with me? In addition to that, when I go to jail, I go to court. People sleeping on the floors, on the toilets. It was 4 days before I was even sent to classifications, where they sent me to a bed, which wasn't a bed. It was something they blue cot on the floor. In addition to that, when I went to court, the first thing they did was they offered me 6 months state jail, and when I refused that and told them, they gave me a court-appointed attorney who immediately came back and gave me a 21-day evaluation. I didn't understand what that meant. That meant I would have had to stay in jail for 21 days before, you know, I knew anything. And then when I called the court-appointed attorney, he didn't even understand. He said someone was supposed to come back and talk to me. I bonded out.
That's the whole point of this, is to obfuscate, to hide what's really going on. This sounds to me just like a scam, like a ripoff that this cop and this record driver were doing, which is not that uncommon. Don't misunderstand. It happens all the time. You heard me earlier say these cops test a lie. They don't testify. They test a lie. They say what's necessary to convince the judge and the jury that you're guilty. You know, a bag of drugs in itself means nothing. It means it exists. It is not a threat or a danger to any person. But if that person who got in your car and left the paraphernalia could be in on the scam.
She walked off. She walked off. He put me in a police car, and then no sooner as we get to, he took me to the city jail first. When we get there, and I'm stretching